This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our MLB On Deck segment for Tuesday, May 28th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our MLB, NBA, and NFL videos. And if you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily FanDuel, and DraftKings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure you can check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So, hey, what up, Jay? How you doing out there, bro?
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, man, sorry to hear about last night, bro. Didn't want to bring it up again, but I know you were very, very close, man. You want to quickly tell us about that real quick? Or you want to move on? It's your decision, bro.
You know, like I said yesterday when we did this video that my opinion was to take Clayton Kershaw and then run a 4-3 or a 5-3-1 stack, right? That's what I thought the best path to being successful was. I thought the Dodgers people would load up on DeGrom and on Kershaw, and I thought using the Dodgers and the Mets against those two teams was the best way to get field leverage. So the Dodgers start going off, and I got like 3 lineups that are all the way. I was in first place for probably 2 hours, an hour and a half. And I had lineups like right behind it for if different things happen, like they would take each other over. So we get to the 8th inning, and we get to the 8th inning of the Dodger game, and Cody Bellinger, the guy has a hose, right? I mean, he has a hose, and you see certain plays and you realize why teams are really bad, right? And you know, a baseball situation is you got the bases loaded, a fly ball to right field. As an outfielder, you throw to third base, let him score the run, especially in that situation. So Carlos Gomez, another thing is don't make the first or third out at third base. Why Carlos Gomez tags and goes to third and gets gunned and makes a third out third base, like I'm beside myself, like, dude, I need these points from these Mets guys, right? Long story short, it's kind of down to I need 2 things to happen. I need Malik Smith to get out in the bottom of the 8th for Seattle, and I need Pete Alonso or J.D. Davis to do something. And a home run by Pete Alonso and Malik Smith getting out, I probably win by 16 points. So the first thing that happens is Pete Alonso hits a freaking shot off of your boy Jansen. The ball hits the top of the wall and bounces back. So he gets a triple out of it. So you lose 9 points off that 2 inches, right? And then Malik Smith is down 0-2. The dude ends up walking him. Malik Smith steals second. He steals third. And then he steals home. So off a walk, Malik Smith gets 24 points and my lineups go to shit. So I go from probably winning like $25,000 to winning $260. So that's what kind of night it was. Bad luck.
Hey, it happens, bro. Tonight, man, let's make up for it. Let's get it. I mean, I'm ready to jump in, kind of talk some baseball. You ready to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. Real quick before we do, if you guys don't mind, please take that quick second, click the like button down below. Helps me out. Really appreciate that from you guys. Yeah, man, let's go. So I'll start with the bats, and you can kind of round us off with pitching as we usually do it. I'm going to get started right in Coors Field. I mean, anytime Coors Field is on the slate, you know, you kind of want to target it. Today, you know, they got some pretty good matchups as well. I'll start on the Colorado side of things. They get a matchup against Merrill Kelly, who gives up a 41% hard contact rate, 149 ISO to righties, 225 ISO to lefties. And on the flip side of things, Colorado as a team has a 187 team ISO, which is pretty respectable. I kind of want to target the lefties a little bit more against Kelly, but I definitely think that you can still throw in a couple of righties to complete your stacks. A couple guys that you can look at. I mean, you can look at Tapia if he's going to be at the top of the order. David Dahl in that 3-hole is looking pretty nice. Daniel Murphy, man. Daniel Murphy is not having the best start to his Rockies career, but Daniel Murphy is a really, really good hitter. He's a solid price tag. I think he's a guy that you could definitely look at. And then your boy, man, you brought him up a couple of times already, Brendan Rodgers. This guy has some pop. He's a guy that definitely gives you some upside. He's definitely in play. And then you can look at Desmond. Desmond's starting to pick it up a little bit, starting to swing a little bit better bat. For me, I'm looking at 1 through 7. I think are really the guys I'm targeting. If you want, you could throw in a Walters, at catcher. But I'm not too into Walters. It's 1 through 7, I think, are all in play on the Rocky side of things. On the flip side, for Arizona, they get a matchup against Antonio Senzatella. Gives up a 43% hard contact rate, 219 ISO to lefties, 204 ISO to righties. There's some guys that you can definitely look at. Jarrod Dyson, he's a guy that gives you, not too much power upside. A little bit, he's been showing a little bit of power this season, though. Definitely gives you stolen base upside. You need him to get you a walk. He's one of those guys, just like you brought up Malik Smith yesterday. He had 3 stolen bases off a walk, and he got a run out of it. That's something Jarrod Dyson could do. The guy's very fast, gives you upside. You just need him to get on base. If he's going to be in the leadoff spot, you could definitely consider him. Escobar gives you a little bit of pop. Adam Jones gives you a little bit of pop. And this guy, Christian Walker, he's definitely a hit or miss, but the guy has major power, and he's a guy that could get a hold of one. Ketel Marte batting in that 4-hole. He's going to probably get you some RBI opportunities. He just doesn't have the most pop. And this is something that we've really been doing this year compared to recent years. Is before I would always just be like, oh, well, this guy, he's, dirt cheap, and he's batting in the leadoff, or he's batting in the 2-hole. Let me play this guy. But, we don't need 3 points, 6 points off somebody getting a single and a walk. We're looking for power. We're looking for home runs. We're looking for RBI doubles, possibly a triple. And with Marte, the RBI opportunity is going to be there. I just don't know how much upside he's really given us as far as power-wise. But in Colorado, both sides of this game are in play. It's just kind of depend on how the lineups shake out and kind of see, who are in those really, really prime spots to have good days today. So definitely want to look at this whole game. Both sides, both are in play. Outside of this game, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go with the Yankees. I think the Yankees are in a really good spot at home today. They've been putting up runs, and the crazy thing is with the Yankees, their best 2 players are hurt, and it's basically just been next man up. It hasn't really been too much of a drop off. So I like the Yankees today. They get a matchup against Eric Lauer. He gives up a 37% hard contact, 0.091 ISO to righties, 166 ISO to lefties. I think you definitely want to target him a little bit more with the lefties. But the righties, all they got to do is get a hold of one. A couple guys that are really standing out. You can look at Aaron Hicks. Clint Frazier's really been showing some pop. Brett Gardner in the bottom of order. You can kind of do a 9-1-2-3 wrap and get Gardner, DJ, Voit, and Sanchez. I think that's a stack that can give you some real upside in this matchup today. So I definitely think the Yankees are in a good spot. Moving on, next team that I'm looking at, I like Seattle. Seattle, they have an opener today, right?
Yes.
And is Sampson's the opener?
Yeah, no.
No, he's the guy who's going to get the long relief, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, I think this game could definitely turn into a bullpen game. They have an opener, going to pitch 1 inning. They're going to bring in a guy in Adrian Sampson who just isn't good at all. The guy gives up a 48% hard contact, 158 ISO to lefties, 252 ISO to righties. And then Seattle, they have a 223 team ISO. They're really, really hitting the ball hard. You want to target the Sampson with the righties, man. We're looking at Haniger, Santana. I mentioned Vogelbach yesterday, and he hit a home run. You can look at him again, Edwin Encarnación. We want to look at righties. He's the righty with the most upside in this lineup, has double dog upside. Tim Beckham been showing some pop to start this season as well. I think those are the guys that are really standing out to me. On the Mariners side, Jay Bruce he definitely has major power, but he's kind of getting on the back end of his career. Very inconsistent. He's just not a guy that I've really been playing. Kyle Seager's coming back. He's been hot since he's coming back. We don't have him projected in the lineup currently, but I think he's definitely going to be in there today. He's a guy that's coming in pretty cheap around the industry that you can look at. I like Kyle Seager a lot today. And I like the Mariners. And the last team that I'll quickly throw in there, we'll look at the Cincinnati Reds at home. Great America Small Park. It's a very, very good hitting environment. They get a matchup today against Jordan Lyles. 32% hard contact rate. He gives up a 132 ISO to righties, 110 ISO to lefties. He was just in this matchup earlier in the year, but we see the Reds, they started off the season horrible. They couldn't hit the backside of a barn. They're starting to pick it up a little bit, swing the bat a little bit better. First outing against the Reds, Lyle, he went 5 innings, didn't allow any runs, but he only struck out 2 Ks. One thing about him is this year, to try to, every year pitchers make tweaks, trying to make a little bit of adjustments to kind of, better themselves. One thing that Jordan Lyles is doing right now is he's trying to elevate his fastball to get strikeouts. Is what he's trying to do with, we know hitters nowadays, they're trying to elevate the ball. They're trying to elevate the ball to kind of get the ball out the ballpark. So I think this is a spot where I feel Lyles he can leave a couple fastballs over the plate and they could get crushed hard, especially in the really small ballpark. I think the Reds are definitely in play. You look at the obvious guys. You got Votto, Suarez, Dietrich, Winker. Those are probably the core stack I want to look at. You can look at Senzella if he's going to be in the top of the order. Possibly Puig going to be low owned, but he's not a guy I've really been playing lately. The best stack for me for the Reds, it's going to be the Votto, Suarez, Dietrich, Winker, and that's really where I'm at. Just to kind of sum it up, I'm liking both sides of the Colorado game, Colorado and Arizona. Liking the Yankees against Lauer. Seattle is going to be a bullpen game, and they're going to be going a lot against Sampson, who isn't a good pitcher. And then you get the Reds at home against Jordan Lyles. Is there any other bats that are kind of stand out to you? I know you mentioned that you liked Atlanta a little bit as being a sneaky stack as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, Strasburg's not been bad this year, right? Let's just throw that out there. He's not been bad, but Strasburg hasn't been great. Strasburg, when he was drafted, was considered a once-in-a-generational talent, and he was. The guy threw 99, 90, 98, 100 miles per hour with his fastball. The guy was throwing the changeup in the low 90s. The guy had a slider at 94, 95. Unbelievable arm talent. But he's not throwing that anymore. He's not throwing 99, 100 miles per hour with his fastball. He's throwing 92, 93 miles an hour with his fastball, mixing in some other stuff. He's trying to add a sinker. He's trying to add this changeup. He's trying to get strikeouts on pitches that have downward movement in them. And that's kind of the adjustment he's made. When I look at this, though, I look at 2 things when I say the Braves. One, you have to point out the obvious. This is the worst bullpen in baseball. They feature a 7.12 ERA. And they've got a 287 batting average against them. So you've got a bullpen that's going to come in this game with terrible numbers, and it's very difficult to roster a guy for the price tag Strasburg is at when the win is not safe. You're hoping to get the quality start. Okay, so what are the probability for him to get a quality start? Well, you take a look at a couple of different things and strikeouts. This is about strikeouts and home runs. That's what fantasy is about now. The way that the hitter, you mentioned it before, pitchers are trying to elevate fastballs. Pitchers are trying to get downward movement, change eye levels because they're trying to get strikeouts. And the adjustment hitters are making is, I should say it's reverse. The adjustment that hitters are making is all about launch angle. Okay, it's about launch angle and exit velocity. In response to that, pitchers are now knowing that there's a higher probability for strikeouts. Teams don't care about guys that strike out. They want power numbers. So pitchers are trying to capitalize on that by elevating fastballs, throwing in on guys, getting stuff with the sliders. We're seeing the slider be a pitch over the last few years that has really, 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 really come up with its usage. So you look at the Braves. Does he have an opportunity to strike out 8, 9, 10 guys? Well, there's not very many guys in that lineup that have very high K rates. And you've got Freddie Freeman with a 252 ISO against right-handed pitching, only a 17% K rate. You got Dansby Swanson at 229 ISO. You got Tyler Flowers at 221 ISO. Josh Donaldson at 219 ISO. So you've got guys in this lineup that can hit for power. We haven't even mentioned Ronald Acuna, Nick Markakis, some of the other bats in this lineup that can definitely do some damage as well. So the combination of Strasburg making some changes to what his pitch mix is, the high ISOs against right-handed pitching for the Braves, and then this bullpen is absolutely terrible. So, the probability for Strasburg to go 6 innings, give up 3 runs, and then the bullpen give up 5 or 6 more runs on top of it, I would say that's a high probability.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, once you get past Strasburg, the bullpen is bad, and it's a really good hitter's environment for sure.
Absolutely.
So what do you got for us pitching-wise?
Look, Blake Snell is by far the best target on this. He's the best pitcher on the slate. I don't even think you need to get cute with it. I don't think that you need to – the challenge is going to be how do you fit Coors Field and Blake Snell together? And how do you there's not a lot of pieces that you can really stack up from Coors Field with Blake Snell and make it a full Coors stack, right? So, how do you get the best of both worlds? Well, when you start looking at pitching and where else you could go, I would rate Snell 1, Tanaka 2, and here's why. You take a look at Boyd. We just talked about Strasburg. You take a look at Boyd. Baltimore, they have 2 guys with over a 300 ISO and right about a 20% K% or lower, and that's Nunez and Severino. So now you bring Mancini and Hanser Alberto into the mix. Mancini with a 283 ISO, a 22.7 K%, and Alberto a 182 ISO, 16.4 K%. So, this is not an elite matchup for Matt Boyd. Baltimore could definitely get on him. We've seen them in the past week get all over some left-handed bats or left-handed arms with their bats, starting with J.A. Happ, right? You take a look at Tanaka, just about everybody in this lineup, other than Manny Machado, is going to be over a 24% K rate, right? So there's strikeouts to be had. We know Tanaka's splits are better at home than they are on the road. You look at Martin Perez, and the ISOs that the Brewers have against left-handed pitching. Yelich 288, only a 12.3 K%. Kane 264, Braun 231, Grandal 212, Moustakas 207, only a 19% K rate. Grandal 15.9% K rate. There's not a lot of strikeouts to be found in that lineup. So you look at these upper echelon pitchers today, as far as price tag goes, the matchups are not elite. My opinion, by far, Blake Snell is the best option. He's just high priced, and you have Coors Field also to contend with. I definitely think there's a couple of guys you could take a look into today to get Coors Field exposure. I would definitely look at Corbin Martin and Zach Plesac. Zach Plesac, a lot of people are not going to know about him. I think it's a good opportunity to get leverage on the field. People are going to look at Boston's implied run total. I think you said it's the 3rd highest implied run total today. People are going to be on Boston. Plesac, he went 12-2 his freshman year in college. He wasn't a high draft pick because he had some arm issues. I don't believe he pitched it all last year. Through 57 innings this year in AAA. He's got under a 2 ERA, under a 1.4 WHIP. The guy's pitched really well in AAA. In years past, I would throw AAA pitching stats kind of out the window and kind of only look at what the guy's pitch mix was and what his velocities were. A good example is the kid that pitched last night for Pittsburgh. He gave up 6 earned runs and he struck out 7 in 4 innings. High strikeout upside. We mentioned him on this video and said that the one thing he struggled with was control, walking almost 3.5 guys per 9, but he had over a 10 K per 9 ratio. That kind of paid off. He gave up a grand slam early, gave up 6 runs in the first inning. But after that, after he kind of got through that, I mean, can you think of a worse place to make your major league debut than that ballpark? I mean, that's just an absolute terrible spot. Having said that, Plesac, I'm going to give weight to his AAA numbers because what people don't realize is for the first time ever, AAA is using the same baseball they're using in Major League Baseball. And that may sound completely like, what do you mean the same baseball? For years, it's been a different baseball that's been used in AAA. It hasn't been the Major League ball. The Major League ball is a lot hotter. And there's a lot of feedback that guys are coming back with talking about this is completely different. I can throw harder with this ball. Yeah, you can throw harder with the ball. It's a little bit smaller. It's wound tighter. But the ball also goes further. So a pitcher who's doing really well in AAA, I think you have to give some weight to it because there are definitely some inflated AAA hitting numbers this year because the ball is different. They're using the Major League Baseball ball.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, hey, that's kind of where we're at. I mean, just
the one guy that I'm going to mention The one guy that I'm going to mention is I want to mention Rowdy Tellez, okay? Because this guy is insane against left-handed pitching. A 282 ISO, but he has a 34.1 K percentage. So he's really boom or bust play. But a good one-off play today, to me, if you want to get somebody really low owned, if you're playing a 3-entry max tournament or something like that, and you want to get a guy really low owned, Blake Snell's the clear-cut #1 pitcher. Nobody's going to own the Blue Jays. If you want to get a kind of a low-owned play on a one-off situation with a ton of upside, it would be Tellez. You know, they get a couple of guys on. Maybe you get Galvis on, or you get, somebody else on. And Guerrero doesn't have a very high K percent against left-handed pitching. It's under 19. Tellez, though, tremendous power numbers against the left-handed arms. A good one-off play.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, man, if you guys want a more in-depth analysis on today's MLB slate, or you're looking at for some NHL, we got NASCAR, PGA, MMA on the weekends. And make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Get yourself a free 14-day trial. Yeah, 2 weeks. We're giving you 2 weeks free just to make sure that our tools are right for you. So make sure to check it out, DFS Cheat Sheet. And, hey, man, outside of that, good luck on your guys' contest tonight, and peace out.